currently on one of the most scenic roads in Russia, Kola. 1,500 kilometers among forests, lakes and mountains. Behind us is St. Petersburg, Murmansk is ahead. We will travel through Karelia and its forests, tundra and taiga. And of course, we will show you the most picturesque locations along the way. Autumn in Karelia is treacherous and unpredictable. It may rain, snow, winter may come suddenly, but we are ready for it. Let us begin this adventure together. Off we go! Our first stop is a museum dedicated to the relief of the Siege of Leningrad. This was one of the most important events of the Great Patriotic War. I've never been here before, so let's come in and see what it's like inside. An exposition of the museum's diorama recreates a particular moment in battle which took place on January 13, 1943, with the Soviet Guard Rifle Division fighting on the Nevsky Pятачок. You get the feeling that you're personally advancing on German positions along with Soviet scouts, riflemen, signalmen and field medics. Every figure in this diorama is a prototype of a real person who participated in Operation Iskra. Every figure here represents someone's real life. This is the exact location of the breakthrough of the blockade of Leningrad, and that's why this museum has been built here. Everything is so realistic here. It's just incredible. This is the place that everyone has to visit. Staraya Ladога. It's an interesting location because this is a place of origin of Rus as a state. This is the place where, by invitation of Slavic and Finnish tribes, Scandinavian chieftain Rurik arrived with his brothers and retinue. He founded the Rurik dynasty, which ruled Rus until the end of the 16th century. The fortress of Ladoga is well preserved and is quite fascinating for history aficionados. We're leaving the original capital of Rus, and now we're heading towards another capital, a capital of Karelian humor, Kindesovo village. In Karelian, Kindesovo stands for a village of mittens. This is the only place in the world with a monument to a worker's mitten. Many various legends and anecdotes are told about the Kindesovo people. These are very hardworking, sincere people. Their adventures are always fascinating to witness. Every year, Kindesovo hosts a humor festival which attracts guests from every corner of Russia's northwest. Traveled 1/3 of the way, and now we are in Petrozavodsk. Many people perceive this city as sort of a transit point towards untouched Karelian nature. But we think that Petrozavodsk is quite an interesting place in itself. Petrozavodsk is a fellow city to St. Petersburg. It was established the same year by order of Peter the Great. Petrozavodsk is a city with arguably the most beautiful monument to this first Russian emperor. The city itself is clean and green. After a renovation dedicated to a centenary anniversary of Karelia, it got even prettier than before. Cultural scene is booming here. There are 5 professional theaters, a conservatory, and of course, a state-of-the-art National Library. The embankment of Petrozavodsk is one of the main attractions of the city. This is the favorite place of citizens and tourists. And here's why. First, there's a great view on the Onega Bay. This is the place with the most beautiful sunsets and dawns. Second, this place is an open-air gallery of modern art. Also, recently, it has become the biggest street gym in Karelia. Our trip is also open to culinary discoveries, and now we're gonna show you classic Karelian cuisine. Tasty Karelia restaurant surprises you from the very get-go. An unusual interior, which utilizes traditional Karelian motifs and peculiar design solutions, prepares guests for equally high-concept foods. It's so striking and varied, it's hard not to order everything at once. We couldn't decide on a particular dish, so we ordered some tasters to get maximum gastronomical experience. Only here you can taste some real exotic Karelian food. If you never knew that moss is edible, you simply haven't tried caramelized reindeer moss yet. Now we're at the riverboat station, and we're gonna travel to the island of Khibiny on this beautiful ship called Comet. This is, without a doubt, a gem of Russian wooden architecture and the main landmark of Karelia. You have to visit this island, not only to see the famous Khibiny Pogast, but also to see what a life of an 18th century peasant was like, and to participate in master classes in traditional crafts. We're only 18 kilometers away from Petersburg, but look how much the view has changed already. Only a couple of years ago, these rocks were completely covered up with graffiti and writings. But there was one man who decided to recover the natural beauty of these rocks. And so he did, by turning this place into a real piece of art. There are already about 500 jackrabbits carved here, but the author plans to make a total of 2,000. Anyone can purchase himself a jackrabbit and set it in Karelian stone forever. Khibiny waterfall is the second biggest cascade waterfall in Europe. A picturesque landscape around hides it from occasional bystanders. You can only see Khibiny by venturing into the very heart of this nature reserve. Karelia is famous for its forests, lakes and rivers. All the more surprising to know that not far away from its capital, there is a real volcano. The landscape around Girvas is shaped by the flow of solidified lava. The sensation of standing in a crater of the 2-billion-year-old volcano is really impressive. By that time, we've already checked all easily accessible sightseeing attractions. Next, we're moving up north. The most interesting stuff is ahead of us. We've taken just 7 kilometers off the motorway, and now we've arrived at this surprisingly calm and quiet place, Belaya Gora village. This is the place where 300 years ago marble of highest quality was quarried. This very marble was used in decorating St. Isaac's and Kazan cathedrals in St. Petersburg. But in order to get to a quarry, you'd have to travel another 700 meters along the lake. Fellows, check out its size. This rock is 25 meters high. Out of this rock, large stone blocks were posted and sent for finishing to St. Petersburg. Yeah, friends, this place is unbelievable. As you probably know, there's another famous marble quarry in Karelia, located in Ruskela Mountain Park. In contrast to it, this place doesn't get a lot of visitors. It's quiet, clean, and the air is fresh. I just can't get enough of it. You can just think about stuff, muse about, just stand here and stare into the water, and look at this nice small village with a church. This place is incredibly feel-good. If you'll excuse me, I'd like to stand some more. We're driving the perfect motorway among pines and rocks. This view alone is a decent enough reason to take a journey like this. There are some weirdos who think that nature requires some additional decorative knickknacks. Please, don't do this, it's just disgusting. This is what Kola famous for, a lot of pretty places out there. There still will be a lot more interesting stuff. Let's carry on. We've taken only 40 kilometers of the motorway to see White Sea petroglyphs. These rock carvings were made about 7,000 years ago. This one depicts beluga hunting. If water washes over it, it creates an illusion of beluga swimming. Just imagine, about 7,000 years ago, there was a fellow like me right here. He was carving this rock with a stone. This artist left us with probably one of the first pieces of art in human history. And now we can literally touch this history. We have taken 30 kilometers of the motorway to visit the famous Kuzava archipelago. We will be traveling there by this boat. At this time of year, this is the only way of getting there. There's a storm due to hit tomorrow, so this is our last chance to travel there. On Kuzava. The island that we're currently on is called Kuzav Nemetsky. Would you look at this view? This is a genuine Karelian Norway. But that is not the only reason to visit this place. Here you can see and actually touch Ciades. This is a sacred place of power, and we're gonna need some for the rest of the journey. Friends, we've made it! We're on Kuzava. Check out this awful weather. Now this is real extreme. Look at the view. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. We've been going on rocks, climbing up about 120 meters. I'm soaking wet. It is really cold. The wind is so strong. But we shall not get desperate. This was totally worth it. You really have to see this. This is real extreme. Karelian style. Yeah. And now we're ready to move further north. Let's continue. Another special thing about Kuzava is ancestors' images. If you look closely at these rocks, it's as if faces are carved into them. We have crossed Polar Circle, and here, in the middle of October, it's already winter. Look how small these trees are. This is not a tree nursery, not undergrowth. These are genuine, mature trees. That's because we've crossed the Polar Circle. And further along, there will be even less vegetation, because we're going to real tundra. Right behind me is a very common panel building of a small industrial town. There are a lot of those in our vast country. But let's just appreciate the view out of windows of this house. These are mountains. And we're going to go there right now. So now we've come straight into winter. Khibiny, second oldest mountains on the planet. They're located here, up north, not far away from Karelia. Just take a look at this majestic beauty. Mountains can be very unpredictable and dangerous. You simply cannot take a trip like that without a guide and a fully equipped vehicle. Our guide, Rinat, has 35 years of driving experience. 25 of those is mountain driving, which is quite important, and we feel safer with a driver like that. We are on a well-equipped vehicle. I forgot what I wanted to say, and now the wind is blowing. I wouldn't recommend to risk and travel here by your own car, because you might begin your journey on good weather, nothing will indicate any trouble. But in a moment, a severe snowstorm can start, and you can get stuck and wait for rescue. Even in such a beautiful place like this, there is too much unnecessary risk. Therefore, trust your safety to professionals. We are in Murmansk, a capital of Arctic. This is the largest city behind Polar Circle. A lot of things here carry the title of the most northern ocean area, the longest northern bridge, and the most northern trolleybus. A trolleybus here! In this city, there's also the largest open port behind Polar Circle. Behind me is a nuclear icebreaker Lenin. This is the first nuclear icebreaker ever built. It has 44,000 horsepower. And instead of tons of oil, it consumes only 45 grams of nuclear fuel. This allowed it to visit both Arctic and Antarctic in one run. Another point of interest in Murmansk, a monument dedicated to the Soviet defenders of polar regions, or as it's fondly called by locals, Alyosha. This is one of the highest monuments in Russia, a symbol and a protector of Murmansk. We have arrived in Murmansk, but our journey is not over yet. We plan to go to the edge of the world. You might think that these are snowy fields around us, but actually this is tundra, and under this snow blanket there are real dwarf trees. We've come a long way, 1,500 kilometers to get here, on the edge of the world. We're in Teribirka. Behind us is the sea, and then the Arctic Ocean. Our expedition has come to an end. During our journey, we have seen a lot of beautiful places. You might want to follow our footsteps and take your own trip to see the same things we did. However, you can travel with us, thus saving a lot of time, nerve, and money. Of course, it's all up to you, but we shall carry on.